closer here, as we do apparently have everyone in the lobby. They are joining teams. So just so we finally get into it after a bunch of waiting. Hopefully everyone in chat is ready for a banger series.
Yeah, I'm so ready for this one. Hopefully no one got cold, honestly, because I'm ready to see some hot Rocket League. I know you kind of hinted at Gen.G probably taking this one. I would have to agree with you, but I think this one does not go down in a sweep. I think Endpoint is able to take at least one here.
Yeah, I think the thing that have always impressed me about Endpoint is you see a lot of players, have their sad moment tweets, after a series loss or something. It's always like, could have been better. Anyway, moving on, we'll do better next time. Endpoint's the only team that I've ever seen tweet those and then consistently get better with every single event. It's really miraculous how they've been able to steadily improve. But the thing is, when you're playing against the very top, not only of NA, but in the very world, you're going to have to peak way beyond that. And right now, we're definitely seeing Gen.G more on the pressure. Right now, Takara just trying to find the escape hatch, and apparently has, even off the ceiling, almost getting a read. That would have been wild as an opener.
Yeah, Takara really has been grinding. I see her on my friend list. Sometimes she's just, just practicing, don't bother me sort of mentality. And she's gotten so phenomenally well, especially in her mechanics as time has been going on. More and more, I think this team used to talk the most about Slumpy, but at the end of the day, I think everyone is really equally matched. They all have their strengths. They all pop off at times, and Takara is the one to look out for. It's a shame she couldn't make that first shot, couldn't give her team a little bit more starting momentum, but a little bit of misses, I guess we'll just call it, in the backfield will leave this one open for Kate.
That was an awkward bounce as well. I think Alanis actually was creeping up, and that might have thrown Takara a little bit off, as that ball looked like it was going to be landing somewhat more toward the middle, but I think it hit right where that Paul, or rather the sidewall becomes the corner, made an awkward angle, and just not able to react in time. So an unfortunate one to give up if you're Endpoint. You never want to give away an open roller, especially against a team like Gen.G, but doesn't much mean about how the rest of the series is going to go. Bella into Kate, trying to slot that back post just enough to make it inside.
I mean, shooter's got to shoot. Kate's been a little bit quiet, but getting her opportunities here upfield and makes the most out of it. It's a shot that's well placed. It's behind the defense. It's off bottom left corner. It's a great job penalizing the likes of Endpoint early just by a couple of mistakes. But you know what? There's still time. It's game number 1 in this series. They're going to have to clean up their play, but we did say they're probably a little bit cold in this one, and we're just heating up.
And the issue is we talk a lot about how Rocket League sometimes is based around momentum, and as you can see, Gen.G does not need a lot of run-up. They can get up to top speed very quickly, and right now we can maybe see Courtney getting into the mix there. Nice shot, not able to join Kate on the scoreboard. Bella, likewise, is trying to just get past the defense, I think, on that one. You're going to have to take a back wall deflection instead. Endpoint. Open chance to set up. Alanis on the backboard, ready for the pass. It's a tap down. Takara can't get to it in time. The set down just wasn't fast enough on the drop.
I love to see these opportunities that Endpoint is trying to create. They're getting there, but unfortunately it seems like they just ran out of boost when they need it in each moment. A little bit of a double commit there. Alanis will put this one somewhat on target. It's saved away by Kate, and upfield there, the ball leaves its space, leaves out of the danger side of Gen.G because they're able to transition so fluidly upfield. That's how they keep their own pressure going. They're not allowing Endpoint pressure for long. Every time it seems somebody is ready to put some sort of touch upfield, and it's phenomenal to watch.
Takara trying to take the soft touch, but it's a nice aerial up. Alanis feed over the top. Kate's a little bit late to that one. Slumpy is going to match it with a 50. So Alanis, I like that possession play, though Courtney was trying to watch that one. You can see sometimes Gen.G doesn't even need necessarily to get to the play first. They're just so good at predicting and being just close enough to be relevant in the play. Of course, as I'm heaping praise onto them, it's still Endpoint just levying shot after shot. Now maybe even a bump, but interfered with. Bella getting a bit of Takara, which gives Gen.G a little bit of a reprieve.
Only temporarily. Slumpy still in this one with Alanis. Takara beats here, sends it center. Kate is ready upfield. There's Courtney in midfield, and it's almost on target. Bella will just get this one off the sidewall. Tries to sit up with Courtney here. They don't find a pinch. Out of boost is Courtney, staying on this ball. The 50s for Alana. She's winning them, but Bella's there. Gets the shot off, saved by Takara, and Endpoint still searching for a way to score in this one.
And right now, starting to see Endpoint have to resign themselves to just longer clears down the field. And the issue is that that's not able to actually get through the defense because ultimately Gen.G just rotates all the way back and then just clears it right on through back into our blue side. So trying to see if Endpoint can build something is important, particularly because we are not dealing with a lot of time here, Chick. So 30 seconds is quite a lot to get 2 goals, much less even get 1 at this point. Even with demos, Endpoint still can't break past that final line of defense.
No, they just haven't found that opportunity. Like I said, they're getting there, but it seems to be they run out of boost. They have to have these long rotations back to their own side. They pick up their own boost pads, and by then, the transition's so fast for Gen.G, they're already on the offensive zone, and now Endpoint needs to defend again. Might be one last opportunity for Endpoint, but it's cleared away, and look, upfield is Courtney to extend that play further. It ends up being a little game of pit-a-ball, but there it goes. Courtney finds one more for Gen.G.
That's the most Courtney type of goal. Just get a weird double tap on an angle, and Slumpy says, "Oh, I didn't realize I was still up." Not like it really changes anything. It's still Gen.G taking home the dub at the end of the day. It was 2-0, now it's 3, but that is very much what you expect out of Gen.G. Just a steady march forward, and Endpoint can't do much about it, despite getting a fair amount of pressure. I will say, definitely not one-sided traffic.
Yeah, 10 shots for Gen.G, and then on the other end of the field, 7, but none, of course, going on in. 5, which saved. 2 that mean we're off target, but Endpoint had their opportunities. They just couldn't finish. Maybe a little bit more quality on those shots, better passes, making sure that you're picking up every small boost pad you can to maintain boost. The amount of times I saw Endpoint at 0 boost, even with Director Cam, was outstanding. They need better control, or else they're not going to be able to match that speed and pace that Gen.G put on the field.
It can be difficult to be able to match that pace, particularly because you see Gen.G a couple times. It's actually something Endpoint was doing a lot versus G2 Luna earlier in the day, where Gen.G is just abusing the backboard. Sometimes it's not even a shot on target. It's just making sure that first defender misses every single time. And eventually, when Endpoint's cycling through so quickly and you're just burning through resources, burning through your movements, positioning, you start to realize, I don't think we have anyone that shot. And luckily, they are able to finally get those touches away. But those long attacks from Gen.G, it just feels like they never rotate back because, frankly, they just don't need to. They're so good at maintaining pressure, and I think that's the biggest issue any team has to overcome. So going into Urban Central, it's really the main question for me on Endpoint. Can you manage yourselves on defense and then compose yourselves enough to get up on attack?
A lot of questions that will soon be answered. Nonetheless, I would love to see Endpoint score at least 1 goal in this one. Find a little bit of success early. A nice beat there. Can Alanis find the read just off the bar, but the follow-up is there, and Endpoint indeed on the board first.
Love this play from Slumpy here, mainly because Alanis is upfield. It looks like it's a goal, but the problem is it's a little bit too far over the shoulder, and yet Slumpy is still there just in case to bury it home. And it's nice to be able to see that instead of just starting to celebrate, taking things for granted on the finish, making sure that goes through before Gen.G can react.
Courtney taking her time. Flip reset here, utilizes it quickly, finds it on target, saved by Alanis. And now she'll have to, unfortunately, give that ball away. Kate off the ceiling, Bella across the net. Courtney waits patiently, will steal that boost as well. Slumpy gets the clear, but Alanis with the demo, and now following up, gets it over Kate. Courtney, unfortunately, needs to own goal, or else that one would have been on anyways.
That's a nice dribble by Alanis, but more importantly, like this catch down. I mean, it turns into a flawless pass. The control on that is difficult enough to set it up, but being able to then not just knock it away or pinch it to the side and being able to keep it straight down the middle. As you said, it looks like an unfortunate own goal, but again, what other choice do you have? That ball is going in, whether Gen.G likes it or not.
Great start for Endpoint. This is exactly what I felt was going to happen. They just needed a little bit more juice, a little bit more to bring to the table, understand what Gen.G is against them, and now they're adapting. They're playing well early on, and the momentum that we've always known, every caster notes, is in their favor, and that's certainly going to help them in the long run. Shot here for Slumpy on target. Courtney just finding a piece of that ball, but now still Gen.G on the back foot. Kate, a great challenge. Backflip here for Slumpy to send it up. Alanis won't find contact. Courtney up the wall. Slumpy reads it well, and Bella blocks it back into midfield, where yet again Endpoint is still at least able to challenge.
Ooh, fantastic half flip there from Takara, being able to cut that one out. And it's just tiny movements like this from Endpoint where you see no hesitation on a lot of these reads, and I think that really helps them because sometimes you pause for a second, especially on these infield passes, balls hit behind you, and you're not really sure how to position it. It doesn't feel like Endpoint is suffering from that at all. They have their decision in mind, they make it just in time, and I think right now, Gen.G is trying to find a way to break through that. Something that is not often a term we associate with Gen.G, seemingly always the team, rather, with Plan A that usually works to success.
Yeah. We mentioned a ton of times, too, this is off-season. We have to wonder how often are these girls scrimming? How many teams are available to scrim? How many are scrambled? Are they, enjoying their summer like a break? Are they doing other things as a team? A lot can kind of happen, and now Gen.G, they are finding their footing again in this one. It was a double commit, unfortunately, and Courtney kind of thrown into that one on that bump, but you know what? You get your goal, you find a little bit of piece of momentum, and now Gen.G has won.
I mean, Courtney's, she's such a good player, I wouldn't be surprised. Just knew that bump was coming. Somehow positions herself, be able to be like, nah, even if I get bumped, it's still going to go in the back of the net. So unfortunate from Takara, you do everything well, except maybe approach her a little from the left or right next time, and then maybe make sure that doesn't happen as a next time. You got a 1-goal lead to defend. Maybe a second there as Kate, I think, hesitated a bit. Almost allowed Slumpy in.
Kate, huge clear up field. There comes Bella already on the outlet pass, but this one's way too far. Touch away. Bella misses it. Alanis the demo. Kate will be first to it. Slumpy sends it down. Courtney maybe a little bit off target, but Takara can't get the shot. She'll still stay on this ball. Courtney, the 50. No turn for Slumpy, who's all the way back. We'll wait patiently. Another demo from Takara. And I think these demos are certainly hindering the likes of Gen.G. They just can't seem to find a way upfield. They're not getting that pressure. That shot count isn't there. And when the shots come through, they're not as deadly as they need to be.
This one could be pretty deadly as Courtney was the only one to get to that, but unfortunately the shot has to go underneath the first defender, which means it's not going to get past the second. Slumpy, they need a second defender step up. Certainly Kate and Bella both tried at that one, but the double commit doesn't really help because Takara is too far away. Alanis has to hit it all the way to the far side, and right now I would say Endpoint is probably fine just to play some possession as you guys are looking at a beautiful black screen for right now as we're slowly waiting in. I suppose it's just... Is this the radio? It's the radio broadcast now. You get to watch us podcast the play-by-play.
I think I remember, I don't know when this moment was. I think it was CRL when something happened. And on a stream, I think JamesBot had his phone and was like, using the reflection for everyone to watch the game. And it's a very vivid memory of mine that they talk through it while trying to show the reflection of the game.
we have Courtney scoring, so there you go. You have a little bit of update there. Ball out to the corner, Kate with the infield pass, and Courtney just able to slot one. So it is 2-2 there.
We see the shot.
Okay, so there you go. We got that update, and now we're back. See, production magic.
Really, really good stuff overall. Good resilience by the likes of Gen.G. They're tied up in this one, and we may see overtime if nobody's able to score in the remaining 22 seconds.
And so I was going to say, Endpoint, before they got their the game crash, we weren't able to necessarily foresee what was about to happen. They're saying if you have the lead, especially with limited time, you don't need to play effective offense. You really just need to hold the ball up in the midfield. Unfortunately, they can only do so much until Gen.G gets one more chance and maybe gets a steal here at 0 seconds. In and out save from the top of their bar. Endpoint stays alive for some OT.
Ooh, Slumpy off kickoff, finds it first, gets a nice touch off the corner, but Bella reads the backboard well. Doesn't find the second touch, Kate spinning. This one quick, Courtney finds the deflection, and oh my goodness, what a start to this overtime. Quick at it, Bella shot here, it's just under the bar, but saved by Takara. Kate here also up, Takara the miss. Is someone gonna be to this one quick enough? Alanis, oh my goodness, sends it away, and I can't barely speak fast enough.
There's too many syllables in these names. They just all need to go by singular letters. It would save us a lot of time as casters, but until that day comes, we'll just have to be dealing with this back and forth, particularly with how fast it's moving. That clear right back in the endpoint half before they can even recover and get their boost. Alanis trying to send it on back with an air dribble. Courtney up early, and he's able to read that, but maybe not getting Slumpy. Kate dove in. That leaves Bella alone, but Slumpy can't double tap it back in the middle. Alanis trying to rescue it down to Takara, but Bella dives in, gets the air dribble steal off the backboard, and Kate and Courtney unfortunately just have to watch that one as they send it to the sideline.
Takara tries to send it upfield. Midfield presence very much controlled by Gen.G. They get this one out to midfield, but this one bounces too far. Shot here for Courtney. Slumpy can't find the read, and Gen.G rally back 3 unanswered goals in order to win this game too.
If I had to guess on Slumpy there, I think Slumpy jumped as Courtney hit the ball, expecting that to be a lot more powerful of a shot. As you can see, flies right by it, not necessarily because of a lack of a read, more so just because they got a little bit of a change up. It was too slow of a shot. I think Courtney just wanted to make sure that was below the bar, as they've been not dealing with the bar super well. But the resilience of Gen.G is something to be applauded. Even after 13 shots from Endpoint, still able to come away with the dub.
I can't remember the last time Gen.G was outshot in a game. Endpoint, really, they gave it their all. They had those adjustments, and they just couldn't finish. They couldn't find that one singular goal, and they couldn't save enough of those shots as well that came through from Gen.G at the end of the day. Quality will win out. Courtney, all through the goals as well, gets another hat trick on the day. I mean, it's hard to save. It's hard, really, to play against Gen.G. And now Endpoint, they have one more opportunity to try and win to extend the series further, or else Gen.G will be securing themselves into our finals.
It can be certainly difficult when you look at a game like this because it felt like everything's going right. You are getting your goals, you're getting the majority of the shots, you're even forcing mistakes out of your women's world champions. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, if we can keep this going, it's fine. But then the first goal goes in, and then you're starting to wonder, okay, well, it's a little dicey. We have to make sure we're still wasting time. Then the second goal goes in, and then at that point, I think the panic starts creeping into the back of your mind. You got to make sure you stay locked in. And I think definitely the hardest part about Gen.G is, yes, you might be able to get some goals to go in. But one thing that shows is that you have to truly play the full 5 minutes and, however many minutes of OT you might be able to force out of them, unless they will be able to break through eventually. They're just so difficult to be able to figure out.
Well, we'll see. Has Endpoint figured out Gen.G? I don't think so. I don't think he can figure out Courtney. This one all the way from the other end of the field. She'll put it on target. She'll put it on in. Nobody back for Endpoint.
It's great awareness as well from the kind of de facto Gen.G captain. As you see that play coming forward, Endpoint is creeping up, but they're just far away enough that Courtney's not worried at all about that shot. You should be worried about Alanis on the kickoff. That's a laser into the back of the net.
That's how you answer back right off kickoff, finding the rebound, finding the counterattack, finding that momentum. Endpoint's not going down without a fight in this one. And I love to see that they're managing to find more here. But man, do we get another kickoff goal with how Courtney's been playing this one? I think our timers run out for kickoff potential, but we'll see. Does the game settle, or are we going to stay up quick to this one?
Yeah, certainly when you have a quick exchanges of goals, more or less we've just reset the game. It's functionally back at 0-0, but we just lost a couple seconds out there. But now, yes, we will be able to actually get into the mid-game and see what happens when everyone has to play creatively. How about that? The fear instilled by Courtney means the pass is wide open.
It's a selfless play. It's a really great pass. The entire team pass as well. Kate initially finding a way to initiate the play, give the pass to Courtney, who in turn gives it to Bella and finishes it out. It's a fake in a sense of Courtney not shooting it and us expecting her very much to do so. And there she is at it again. I can't even break down the last play because she's already here and making the next one.
Bella just being a thorn in the side, literally reversing and then back flipping into Takara to get the bump. One of the most creative ways to clear out a defender. I mean, as long as you can be close to the defender, you can be involved in the play. Very well done by Bella to facilitate that third goal.
Well, I guess here we go at it again. Now Endpoint down by 2, need to rebound in this one, and that's never a good territory against Gen.G. Courtney, a third. Here's another hat trick for her on the day, and again, Gen.G just rolling. All the dominoes falling in their favor.
And this is what I was talking about with Gen.G, when it's almost like they never have to improvise because it always feels like plan A, and they always have the reads that they want to go for. Right there, longer clear from Courtney. Slumpy has the read, but Bella knows that most likely you don't want to put it to the near side corner. You want to put it to the far side. It gets read by Bella, and then we get a goal. This time it's going to be Courtney here on more or less the kickoff of this bounce. Poor Takara just caught in no woman's land, whatever you want to call it.
No, I totally get what you're saying. But, oh, man. I don't know what to do. I don't want to say this game's chalked up already, but Gen.G scores 5 goals in a minute and 15 seconds, and you're kind of asking yourself, how did that even happen? You know, I blinked my eyes a couple times, and poof, 5 on the scoreboard for Gen.G, and it doesn't look like they're giving up. Okay, a little bit of a back pass. The team will reset, and somehow Endpoint is going to need to find a way to answer. Here's a good challenge. Dare I say it sneaks on in? I didn't think it had the trajectory, but man, that one just flies on in.
Of all the angles to have, you can see Kate really thinking, really, the only place on that goal I cannot reach to the back post. But hey, Takara chooses her points and chooses them well. Now you have something to build off of. The only good thing about Gen.G exploding forward offense is that you have time, but as I say that, just reset that timer. I mean, there's a lot of things to fear about Courtney. Shooting 100% off 5 shots is terrifying, though.
I don't know how she gets back to it off kickoff. She beats out not only the kickoff person, but then the follow-up from Slumpy as well. Manages to find her wheels, find her footing, recover, and here we go again. 4-goal lead back for Gen.G, and we still have 3 minutes of gameplay left. There's so much clock time, but this game has already gone through so many goals. I think at this point, I mean, chat, take your pick on how many goals we'll end with, because we have a lot of time and we're already at 8.
Yeah, I mean, we're not necessarily keeping formal stats here, but this is more or less a stat padding game where you're just trying to run up that statistic to cartoonish levels. And if you're Courtney, I mean, 5 shots, 5 goals is not too shabby. Maybe just get Kate involved. Right now, Kate is just sitting down there with 0, the only person not on the scoreboard, and I think Takara is making sure that stays that way. That's a nice save on the near side. And weirdly enough, despite the scoreline and how fast this game has been moving, we have just hit halftime. Endpoint trying to pull it together, but it's so hard on Courtney. Bags her 6th.
Wow, that's 9 total goals. I'm saying we're getting to 13 by the end of this one. That's my pick. Courtney as well, double hat trick, 6 of 6. I mean, you can't ask for more in Endpoint at this point. I think it's past the point of no return. If this was early in the series, this is one of those you just kind of pack up and say, oh well, you know, move on, go next. And I think that's what Endpoint needs to think. Let's not get down on ourselves. There's a lower bracket. They need to be thinking about that next. You know, how can we get through this lower bracket? How can we, as a team, keep our spirits up and just try to look towards those positives?
And ultimately, if you do lose to a team, it's usually Gen.G. Like, in any bracket that Gen.G is in, that's normally the team that you're going to face off against the upper bracket. It's going to be a tough task. But now you have been able to play against them. You've been able to understand what the strategy is, and you get some goals to boost the momentum. They're not an invincible team. They're just a razor sharp at times. You can cut them back.
A nice one here for Slumpy. Puts it, again, well placed, which is, I love the accuracy that all the girls have been shooting today. I think it's what's made these shots really hard to defend against, as well as those team plays and those demos on the goal line. All have been such quality when you watch it on the field. Oh no, almost a double pass. Bella can't finish it here, but the creativity is just certainly at its finest.
As you can see, a little bit of a musty setup off the sidewall from Takara, so not afraid of customizing the shot selection. Courtney to the back post to Kate with the pre-jump. Would have been nutty. That would have been one of the better goals that we have seen in quite some time in the women's scene, but unfortunately just tragically denied by the post.
Yeah, I think Gen.G really is trying their best to set up Kate with a goal here, and again, getting super creative with it on the pitch. I enjoy watching them work, seeing kind of how their brains figure things out, the gears turn. Can they get the angle they need to get this pass in or the target of that goal? All those things, so fun to watch. But now we're finally under that minute mark, and Gen.G just needs to hold on a little bit longer to finish this one off. I think this one will roll on in. I mean, I don't want to say comeback potential, but 3 goals in 44 seconds isn't impossible.
You know, we need more Alanis peak kickoffs to be sure, but other than that, it's more or less Gen.G also not being too lackadaisical. You see a lot of kind of wide rotations on the far side. I think they all trusted, that's going to get cleared, and of course that one goes in the back of their net. So certainly Gen.G made to make sure this one isn't a laughing stock of a comeback and making sure that they actually close this one out. Pretty tough if you ever had the headline of scoring 7 and still losing. Alanis actually might get one back. Slumpy is able to convert, so they are on track with 45 seconds remaining. They needed 3 more, and 15 seconds later, more or less, they have won.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Okay, spoken into existence. It's not impossible, guys. Well, we'll figure it out. Alanis ends up winning this one. Can she get a good touch? That's a phenomenal touch to the center. A 1-goal difference for Endpoint.
I feel like I'm going to eat my shoe live if this actually happens. I cannot fathom what I'm witnessing right now. Endpoint within 1 goal with 22 seconds to go. I have to think Gen.G takes the safest kickoff possible here.
Do they even go for it? You know, that would be kind of memey. But anyways, I was ready for them to fake it, you know? I wouldn't have expected that. It was kind of, you know, creativity playing. A miss there from Alanis. The shot's not in. The bounce is good. Slumpy looking and go. The length of the field wins the 50 here, but it's high. Courtney stalling for time. 1 second. This ball cannot touch the ground. Here comes Slumpy and Alanis and Takara. And you know what? The game ends just like that.